Hello, Spider friends, and welcome back to the Spider-Man Retrospective. I am Liz Allen, Travis Snail.
Dude, Liz Allen goes in on this episode. I am the Wall Weasel, Dylan Muss. Nice quote from Vulture.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We're in the final season of the Spider-Man Retrospective. We got 4 more episodes as far as recording and recapping these. Yes, if you do not know what the series is, I don't know why you're listening now because we're near the end, but this is close to the finale. We have reviewed every single episode of the classic Spider-Man animated series from 1994, Spider-Man. And here we are, season 5. Yeah, radioactive spider blood. And yeah, so
this is kind of interesting because normally we try to pair all the multi-parters together, but this season throws it off the wall. It has the first episode is its own story, and then it has follows up with a 5-parter,
then a 2-parter, then a 3-parter, then a 2-parter. So
we decided to do the first 4 episodes, so that's including the first one-off episode, and then 3 of the 5-parter.
Yeah. So
we're Infinity War in this one, and we're cutting it right in the middle.
Yeah, but I don't think you're gonna be that mad because it's only the 6 Forgotten Warriors, and it's
anyway, we'll talk about it. We'll get there. First, we gotta start with another.
No, what I want to talk about is Spider-Man. It's just the wedding. Hang on.
The wedding episode.
This is the moment of the show where I forgot to pull up the the episodes.
That typically happens at some point.
Oh, most of the time. I'd like to go back.
I don't have internet on this thing right now, so
I'd like to go back and see the ratio of the successful attempts of when I've gotten it right and had it ready to go and when I'm not.
It's all part of the experience.
It's all part of the
It makes it more immersive, right? Because like they're along here with us. And
or
we don't cut out the crap. We just leave it all in.
Yeah, or this is when they tune out. Like, fuck these guys. They're not even ready for their own show. Here we go. Season 5, The Wedding. Peter and Mary Jane are ready to tie the knot. Their plans are interrupted, however, when the Scorpion kidnaps Aunt May. Spider-Man gives chase and What the fuck? Spider-Man gives chase and rescues Aunt May. Is that right?
I think that sounds fucking Shakespearean, and I like it.
Gives chase and rescues Aunt May, but wonders if the fates are trying to tell him something. Meanwhile, Wilson Fisk is paying for Peter and Mary Jane's wedding.
Yeah,
when the wedding finally takes place, Green Goblin, a still mentally 8-year-old Harry Osborn, shows up in the middle of the ceremony, grabs Mary Jane, and threatens to blow up the church if the priest does not marry him and Mary Jane, based on Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 21. Man, what an episode.
This is loaded with content.
This was fire. This was... to start overall, because we talked about this last time with the Return of the Goblin, I thought that should have been 2-parter. I think this could have been 2-parter, but for some reason it just worked as a 1-parter.
It did.
It was balls to the wall action. There was not a dull moment in this, so maybe that's what I liked about it. It was just thing after thing after thing. You could maybe argue if you watch the show along with us that maybe there's too much things going on this episode, but I loved it. This to me, especially, I will ask you this question when we finish the season, but this to me should have been the finale because they bring back so much stuff and you get to see like a bunch of villains, so many arcs tied together. This would have felt like a good way to be like, okay, they're married and it's happily ever after. There's some stuff I think you understand, but like this to me would have been a great like series finale. They finally get married and she's accepting of Peter, and you got Jonah's back and Wilson's back and Anna Watson's there, Aunt May, you got Scorpion, you got Goblin, you got OG Goblin.
At the same time, though, you want to see how that relationship develops as, like, does he continue to be Spider-Man? Does he not?
But you don't get it much in the... I guess you kind of do, but he's so busy you often fucking, like, rush or whatnot in the next 3 episodes. He's not really with Mary Jane.
Yeah, it's true. But, I mean, I haven't seen the rest of these episodes. And of the 5-parter, I only watched the first 3. Yep. So I don't know. I'm glad. I think it would have worked good as a finale, but I don't know if it should have been a series finale. Okay. But season finale, yes. Especially we talked about in the last episode how they closed off season 4 and how it was maybe a strange last episode. Yeah. That's how it goes with these kinds of shows. Wow, where to start on this one?
Well, you have said, did you like it?
Yeah, I did. I really enjoyed it as well. There's a lot of moving parts in this episode. And it is it almost like in some ways, little ways, it's like a best of, like it brings back some moments from older seasons. One little thing I really like is during the actual wedding reception, they take like Mary Jane's theme and they bring it to like a full like symphony version.
Orchestra,
yeah, full orchestra, and I thought that was just It was just a beautiful little touch, and it made the show like feel grander than what it is, kind of. And yeah, I love how it's bringing back, it brings back your Kingpin, brings back your Harry Osborn, brings back some of the minor characters as well. Like, yeah, this is a really fun episode. Too. Now, one thing I just noticed is, they were talking what happened with Connors near the end of that last situation with the lizard episode? Was he back to normal?
It was the Lizard King. Yeah, he was back to normal.
So why was he not at this wedding? Because they were was he?
He walked Mary Jane down the aisle, you fool.
Oh, fuck.
Fly, you fool.
I missed that.
Yeah, he walked down the aisle because remember they asked her, like, you're like a father.
That's what I thought.
We both don't have fathers.
Right in my head just now, I was thinking, where was he? But
Mary Jane, the way she...
It is a fast episode. There's a lot there.
I think I hit the nail on the head. Like, Mary Jane almost talks to me where she's asking a question, but not really. Like, we don't have fathers. And we both still don't have fathers. Like, she always says it with breathy and says something like that. Like, Peter, we need to get married today. Like, I don't know, like, not a question mark, but I don't, like, right? That's how she always sounds.
I think
like,
mentally, especially after the whole other dimensional thing, I think she's not fully there.
Anna, I may still have amnesia, but I love Peter. Mary Jane.
Yeah, that's a wild quote.
Should have been Felicia. But you know what? I lost that battle. Team MJ prevailed, and, he married her. Even though Felicia... Also back, and Black Cat, we didn't shout that out. Also back at the wedding.
Also Black Cat.
When we left off, he knew that she was Felicia Hardy, right? Black Cat, they were on the same?
No, not yet. I thought they were like foreshadowing that. I don't think it was actually revealed.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Because either way, I'm wondering...
It's hard to remember the details.
The way Felicia showed up at the wedding felt like no one knew she was going to be there, right? So it felt like she just kind of showed up. So did they invite her, or did she just show up?
They never formally invited anyone except for Connors, really.
True, we didn't get to see that.
There's a lot of weird stuff that happens, like, in between the end of season 4 and the actual wedding itself. Like, also this Fisk thing, right? Like, what the fuck? Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the one negative I have this episode is the Fisk thing. I'll bring it up in a second because I want to ask this question. Would Mary Jane have wanted Felicia at this wedding? Because we know their history. Mary Jane and Peter practically broke up because Peter was consoling Felicia.
Okay, I think there's you got to look at the overall picture. When I've never planned a wedding, but my sister recently got married. There's a lot of things that go on. I think one thing you got to think about is the diplomacy, the dynamics of who's all at this wedding. Because if it's a small wedding, there's no way in hell you bring Felicia, because then a lot of room for conflict. Yep. But this chapel was packed. There's people from wall to wall.
Lots of friends.
There's people partying. I don't know who any of these people are. So I think of all the people, Flash. I think it's totally fair that Felicia is part of them.
So
right? You look how Flash, he was never friends with Peter, right?
He could have been friends with Mary Jane. No, I think he's Deb's +1.
But he was just but still you don't just allow some +1 if he was some asshole guy.
Okay, fair enough.
To the groom.
To your knowledge, did your brother-in-law have any exes at his wedding?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
You think your sister would like that?
No, she would not have. She would not have.
Yeah.
But, him and Felicia were never dating, though. They were just
practically fucking, though.
Yeah, but she doesn't... He probably did not share that detail. He probably did not describe...
She knew that there was an attraction there. They maybe dated, though. Kind of. Because that's why they broke up. Because remember that cop one time was talking about,
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, but MJ also,
amnesia.
May have done some stuff with Harry and,
That's true. Yeah.
And that's as close as you can get to...
Just to think about doing stuff with Harry is tough. What is
look
that?
At his head, yeah.
It's like him and Donald Trump. Those two, you just can't imagine them in the sack.
I don't know that.
Because there's just there's a recurrent joke I had with somebody. It's just imagine just Donald Trump in bed. How's that good?
It'd be very one-sided. Be very smelly.
Yep.
And I imagine there'd be an audience. That's the 3 things that come to mind.
Yikes, that's what I want. You know who else is smelly? A scorpion. Scorpion's smelly.
Scorpion's probably very smelly.
He's the one that kicks off this episode as far as the bank heist and everything like that. And then so Aunt May she's taken Peter Parker, her nephew, to the bank to give her and Uncle Ben their respective rings, and he's like, you can't do this, blah blah. Scorpion, of course, comes in, ruins the party. Peter sneaks off, becomes Spider-Man. I thought it was a good little set piece because one, it's good just to have like a villain action scene, but it was a nice tie with the rings and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it happened before, but very Spider-Man 3-esque of,
Yep.
I feel like Peter Parker in every iteration is getting Aunt May's rings. It's probably happened in the comics, so it makes sense. And it was nice for Aunt May because she's a character that I felt she was in it a lot more at the beginning of the show, and she's definitely tapered off. There's not many interactions with her and Peter, so it was nice to have.
It feels like in recent times she's had as much screen time as the other Aunt.
Yeah,
and that ain't cool because it's Aunt May. You got to give her some love, and that's what I liked about this episode as well. And this is why I mean, a little foreshadow here, but this is why I like the Six Forgotten Warriors episodes somewhat, is because it develops her a little bit more. And I would say it does more than this episode, really. But
I don't hate them. We'll get to them. I just feel like for the last one of the last arcs, I'm like,
I can understand where you're coming from. But.
She also walks Peter down the aisle, which is grooms don't really get walked down the aisle, but he loves.
That's
Aunt
true.
May,
Usually there's a big chilling up at the podium there.
Yeah. But he loves Aunt May, so she walked him down the aisle.
I think you throw her a bone. I think you would love it.
No wedding party for either of them.
No.
I guess probably his best friend was mentally ill in Ravencroft, and
I mean,
Mary Jane doesn't really have. Well,
they have a lot of friends, clearly.
And Liz was Mary Jane's friend, though.
Yeah.
So they could.
But Liz is crazy. Liz is wild.
Let's say for the end,
She's
because there's a lot to talk about Liz. Where do you? So you brought up. Let's talk about Kingpin. That's the one thing I did not like in this episode because I could tell with this episode for the most part they were trying to make it a little over the top and a little just fun going. Like, it's a wedding. Like, we don't want... People are going to be put in peril, but not too bad at peril until Green Goblin comes in and shit gets serious. But at that point, everyone's really chummy. It's really comedic. After everything, one, I don't think Fisk would be doing this. I get it. Oh, I have a competing newspaper now. But the fact that Peter would let this guy who is just full on, he knows it, riddled with blood money, pay for his wedding, and he's just like, oh...
Plasma money.
Why would you do... yeah.
Whole plasma money.
Oh, I want them to say them. The show's so bad now. Your empire is built on plasma money. I did not buy that Peter would let that happen. Especially, it'd be different if he just had, like, he knew he was a criminal. Wilson Fisk tried to send Peter Parker to prison. He's Spider-Man's foe. I did not buy that. And we hold the show to a real-world standard. I did not buy that at all.
I do think it is strange, but at some level it's kind of like, okay, maybe I shouldn't say no to this guy because he might kidnap MJ and like kill her or something. I mean, it's that plasma money.
He would never do
that. I guess the reason I really liked it is because it kind of just set up out of nowhere this rivalry between him and Jameson, and that's just such a fun dynamic. Like, they're just going back and forth, like, describing, how they're going to make this better. I love the one line where Jameson's like, well, I know the top pastry chef in Queens. And then Kingpin's like, well, I know the Queen's top pastry chef. And it was just all, like, little stupid things like that back and forth. Yeah. And I don't know, I had a lot of fun with that. And
Peter's like a son to me.
Yeah.
You have to let me pay for them.
Yeah, and it was just another side of JJ, but I think I love every scene that character's had in this entire series.
Oh, yeah.
He's a lot of fun from start to finish. So
from the wedding antics to his wife getting shot down, it's been such a journey.
She's still, this whole entire show has gotten just...
to Jigsaw Jameson.
The most, like, dark scenes. So.
Yeah, and I did like that, okay, he started as an asshole because he just wanted to get the big scoop for the newspaper thing because Fisk just said, like, oh, he's, paying for this, which, I don't know, I guess it's his newspaper, but so... To describe this for people that aren't watching the show with us, Fisk has apparently bought a newspaper and he wants to do like some pro bono like charity work to look good. Because obviously, he's a little shady and not everyone knows that, but I think there's some rumblings like, oh, Fisk is a good guy. So he wants to put out a better image. So the front page of his first issue is Fisk pays for wedding for a photographer. I don't see in any world, even like in New York, where that would be, even if it's Fisk doing it, why that would be front page and why Jonah would be like, we gotta top that story and I'll pay for the wedding. Mm-hmm. Very strange. In a world that has lizards in the sewer?
Yeah, it really...
That's the top story Fisk to run with?
It seems strange because who is Peter Parker? He's just some random ass guy. And like Mary Jane, she was, almost going to be maybe an actress at one point, but that keeps falling through. Yep. So she doesn't really have any name...
I guess you can say Spider-Man's photographer. That's why could be famous.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, if it was a different world and it was like Spider-Man marries Black Cat or something like that, I could see that something more like Kingpin wants to get his dirty fingers on that. Obviously, Spidey wouldn't go along with that. or maybe he would clearly because he did here.
Fucking hypocrite.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really make any logical sense.
No.
And apparently Jameson cares about this as well.
That's how I was setting up this because he doesn't want to get scooped. I think he just doesn't like the idea of Fisk having a story.
He wants to be the one scooping.
Yeah, and he doesn't like the idea that Fisk's top story is about his employee, right? He should get to run with that story. So Jonah offers to pay for the wedding, which they take him up on? Who eventually pays for the wedding? I don't think we really find out.
It's JJ.
Is it JJ?
Or at least he shows up with that van.
Yeah, that's the best thing.
Super funny van that has just like newspaper clippings on it,
and of Spider-Man being guilty, and
it just looks like a kind of shitty old van.
Well, yeah, and they play it off like it's gonna be something nice, and then they show Peter's face like, and then I don't know if it's because it's a van or because it's the newspapers. Either way, not good. But I did like that at the end they kind of let Jonah let loose a little bit, and it shows he's kind of cares about Peter. We've seen that at times where he semi-does, and that happens. He's kind of a dick the whole time. He's like, I'm going to pay for a wedding or I'll fire you. And then he
puts on a little bit of a face.
Yeah, and then he's like, oh, I'll pay for your wedding. You just got to pay me back for the rest of the years now. And Peter's like, oh, brother, I can't do that. But at the end, he gives him the vehicle. He says it's all yours. And I like that, he kind of sends him off. So good with Jonah because I don't know. Jonah was in these next episodes, and with the episodes coming up, they're pretty this. They're pretty epic scale. So I don't know how much more of Jonah we really see the rest of the series. Might see here or there, but it's a mini spoiler, but you got Captain America in the next episode. You got Red Skull. We're getting into Infinity War territory, which we'll talk about more in Six Forgotten Warriors. But for the final season, I like these smaller episodes better because they're the characters we love. Where the other part is just that's why I've always been a little down on the last season because it's not really focused on I guess with AMA, but that's why I like this episode. It's tying everything together. You know?
No, I agree.
What do you want to tell? You anything on Scorpion? It's just good that he's there.
Fun fact in my notes, I wrote Chameleon because I always mix those two up, I guess.
Boom.
But no, I mean he's the classic goon. He just kind of shows up out of nowhere to fuck some shit up and then leaves promptly after Spider-Man bops him.
Mm-hmm. So shout out to Aunt May. Usually we give shout out to Peter or Spider-Man for his great one-liner zingers. Scorpion scoops up Aunt May. He says, "You're good insurance." She said, "You'll need insurance if you don't drop those rings." Good on now. That's where Peter gets it.
Throwing down some quick sassafras.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see. Yeah, I mean, I think the Harry stuff is what we got to dive into next.
Well, because that is the meat and potatoes. I think this is, because I said this last time, I wasn't sure if there's any. I saw, I was like, oh, this is, I knew this was coming. This is a pretty popular storyline in the comic book, so I can't believe I forgot, but these episodes have been so far apart, so this is the ending to the Goblin thing, and this is quite the ending. This is definitely cartoony, the way how quickly they move through things and just storylines they bring up that never ever existed, but how do you feel about the handling of Harry / Green Goblin?
So, as it were, the last time we saw Harry, he was on Peter's couch, and he was all frazzled out of his mind.
Spider-Man.
He was completely insane. He was long gone. Black holes in his eyes, all this sort of thing. And this season, so he pops up. He's in
Ravencroft.
He's in Ravencroft, some sort of psychological ward, trying to get some help. And he's a little more thinned out. He's a little more normal. He doesn't have the Green Goblin in him initially. It doesn't last very long, I should say. Mm-hmm. What I found really interesting, this is the first time Harry's ever seen, one, not wearing his classic orange jumper and mom jeans, and two, wearing the Green Goblin costume. He's wearing just a regular outfit.
Yeah.
I guess his regular outfit was a regular outfit, but
this
it was
is the
just
mental
he wore it
institution
every single day.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's just a regular clothing look.
Was it?
It was just a green jacket. I think it was just another pair of jeans.
What if that's what they give you at the institution?
I mean, I guess it could have been.
Because we only see him wearing that at the institution.
I didn't take it as some insane asylum hospital gown.
I don't think it was branded, but I think they gave that to him. I don't think you'd be caught dead.
You've had enough of those orange clothes. They don't suit your hair.
Just his getup with the bright ass green pants. My God.
So anyway, he starts seeing visions of Green Goblin once again, as he does.
Are you gonna talk more about the nightmares? Oh, you're just talking about the visions, okay? Because he's also having nightmares about Goblin, and he's having nightmares. Two things I love about it. He's having nightmares about Spider-Man. Spider-Man's looking badass in these dreams. He's almost like Carnegie. He has like these teeth, and so he just imagines Spider-Man as like this complete monster. He's like, there's one moment where he just takes like MJ and throws her. And Harry's like, Mary Jane, and then Spider-Man turns out laughing, and that transforms into Peter, like regular Peter, and he's just like, like he's doing the evil laugh. Like the dreams Harry's having are beyond fucked up.
You can see he is mentally disturbed.
Yeah, like the medication they're giving him. It ain't working.
Up the dosage, please.
Yeah. Did you notice whose doctor was?
Yeah.
Dr. Kafka.
Dr. Kafka, who was from
Eddie Brock's lover.
Right. Yeah, I kind of
That's who Eddie Brock fell in love with, and he sacrificed himself. Remember, that's where him and Carnage were fucked up because Carnage was going after Kafka and took them out. So
I'm glad they brought back a character that we've seen before. It's fun connecting piece as they do. Yeah, I was just seeing something else in my notes that happens later with Goblin.
You were kind of taking us down the Harry path. I was going to let you keep going.
Well, because I feel like we should go in order with it.
Sure. At one point, Harry tells Kafka that he struggled with loneliness and abandonment. Gee, you're fucking thinking that he's like, I don't have any friends. So finally, again,
he really, it's quite sad.
It's settling in though. Like Harry's getting meta. It's like everything we've complained about and just said about the show about this guy and what he's going through. He's finally realizing like that's his life. Yeah, he has no friends. He is lonely. I liked that, the setup to the dreams, and then the next setup is so MJ decides it's best that she goes tell Harry that her and Peter are getting married. She just tells to Harry, it says, I thought it'd be best for you hearing it from me.
She brings Liz,
She brings Liz, who Liz, is talking about, she says...
She's very kind.
She's very kind, and I don't remember the exact remark, but she said some remark that is insinuating that she might be attracted to Harry. And then MJ's like, oh, do you like Harry? And she's just like, oh, I have a thing for strays. Like, does that what she says? Something like that, right?
I can't remember.
It's something like that. So they throw in this plot, and then MJ says they're gonna marry, and Harry just freaks out, like, I gotta go back to my room, Dr. Kafka, and he leaves. So they throw this storyline of Liz Allen is apparently in love with Harry Osborn. Something she
drops the big L in this episode.
Yeah, something we have never, ever been hinted about at all.
Her timing could not be worse. Either. He desperately needed her, like, 4 weeks ago.
No. 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
We don't know when she fell in love with him. We don't know why. It sounds like she just fell in love with him because he's fucking nuts and she loves a stray. So, like, and I also...
she never really gives a reason. I mean, what reason could there be?
And I also feel like, so this is the thing. So, as a person, I've dated quite a bit in my lifetime. And we all have this thing where there's a girl you may like, or for a girl, or for a guy, maybe it's a guy for you, that you may like someone and they have a friend that they might be opposed to them dating you, or they're just looking out for their friend, right? So you might like this girl and they go, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't date him because of this, or maybe the timing's not right, so you don't date him that, or you gotta take care of yourself. So sometimes you're not fighting against the person that you like, you're fighting against their friends, right? Mm-hmm. MJ is being a terrible friend in this situation because this is the time where she should be, you know what? I'm really happy that you might have feelings for Harry, but Harry is, in my situation, I was never in a mental institution. It's just, girls being girls. With this Harry situation, this calls for a girl to stand up and say, you know what, Liz, maybe there's other fish in the sea. Maybe this guy who is in a mental hospital, because he became a super villain terrorist, maybe now's not the time to make a move on him, and maybe not ever again. So... I don't know. It felt a little off that because when she's like, oh, something about Harry, and she's like, oh, you like Harry? She felt like it was just like they were back at school. No, he's fucking sick. He's murdered people. Okay, he hasn't, but they know the Goblin has murdered people, right? And people don't know about Norman. They just know Harry's the Goblin. So Goblin has murdered people. Harry Osborn should, even at the end of this episode, when they're just love and they hold hands, they walk away, Harry should be going right back to prison. Just because he fell in love with Liz doesn't mean he should just be roaming the streets. It's the Vader argument. Like, he needs to go back to prison. Like, there's no future for them. So, I thought MJ was being a terrible friend. I like MJ, but I think she's a shit character to some of the advice and life decisions she makes.
She has a lot of flawed reasoning often.
All the time.
No, yeah, you laid it down perfectly there. It's
Terrible timing.
It's awful advice. It's terrible timing. It's everything bad. Everything about the situation is bad.
Like, I guess in the end it worked out because she saves the day and she stops Harry from murdering a priest and like
Barely.
marrying MJ. Barely, yeah. She waited to
She
the
almost died.
19th hour, not the 9th hour, the 19th hour to do this. But yeah, I think this was just they had no other way to get Harry out of the situation, so they just created this Liz Allen thing, and that's the thing. Like, to spoil my rating, like I want to give it a 2 thumber, but I don't think I can because the Kingpin thing is a little thrown off, and this is too. As much as I love it because we're talking about how batshit crazy and funny this is, we hold the show to a certain standard. This does not match what. This would have been nice if this was set up down the line. We could have talked about, Harry's in love with MJ, but he doesn't see Liz on the side. But Liz just came like a bat of hell out of nowhere and just, I love you. I've always loved you. Like,
no, that one gets a caps lock, bold, and underline for me. That one was very. I was taken aback. Like, I almost fell out of my chair. As an exaggeration.
Yeah.
There's so we kind of brushed over this, but so if Harry he becomes the Goblin again, and then he goes to team up with Smythe. Now here's something interesting. So I don't remember exactly how it was framed, but he's like walking in there, and you can hear Smythe's voice, and he's talking to him, and then like the frame cuts to him, and Smythe is as he was left off like some weird Demogorgon thing. I completely forgot about that, so I just heard his voice first, and I heard the word Smythe
in the chair.
Yeah, I was expecting like just a guy, and then it went to that, and once again I was almost knocked out of my chair. I was like, what the fuck?
We talked about this in the initial episode when he debuted, but it is worth stressing that his look is haunting. I think he's the worst looking character, not in a way design, but just in a way that you don't want to look like. I would take that scorpion suit being attached to me any day over looking like Smythe.
It's not good.
Not even that, just what's going on below.
His skin is like gray. He's got like weird growths out of his shoulders. He still has the mullet.
And like, what is he still has the mullet? He has these awful blue sweatpants that he's rocking all the time, barefooted. I don't know what his manhood situation is going on. I don't know if he has anything down there, and if he does, what is the shape of it? I don't know what that type of man shits, because like his binary system has to be all kinds of fucked up. Like, he is just.
See him walk now.
His eyes are yellow and just shining.
They're
like
very yellow.
That guy would scare you anywhere. Like.
He's the last guy I'd want to team up with if I was living in New York with the rest of these guys.
Oh yeah, you don't want to see him in a dark alley. Like I almost want him in the movies.
I don't want to see him anywhere.
I want to see him in the movies just to see this grotesque guy. But yeah, he is disgusting.
Live action, that'd be funny.
He is disgusting. Smythe, there's no over.
You're not over exaggerating.
Oh
really
yeah,
is.
Liz can't love you.
And as with Smythe comes a robot army.
So he fucking spider.
So Goblin teams up with Smythe, who teams up with Scorp. They spawn a robot
Silvermane
army.
kind of too, because Smythe is
they
working for
mentioned
Silvermane.
Yeah.
I guess he's still out there, some fucking baby.
He's probably like 12 years old now.
Yeah.
And they go
get ready to graduate.
Yeah, they go. They end up at the wedding. Classic. That's the final battle scene. With a bunch of robots, and then Kingpin has like his head implanted into one of the robots, and
that Smythe left over.
Yeah. So
that was fun to see Fisk in action, even though I didn't think Fisk would do that, because he was just like, I can't let anyone ruin this for me, and I just didn't buy that Fisk would fight. Fisk to me has always been the guy that he will run away unless he has to fight. He didn't need to fight there.
Well, I mean, he was doing a robot though, right? Or like it was his face in a robot.
Yeah,
he wasn't actually.
I know, but anybody just looks up and see Fisk's face. Like I didn't feel like he would go for the effort to go back to his mansion.
Right, because if he's trying to keep up this like popular reputation, even in the same episode, obviously he's trying to do that. Oh yeah, very poor choice by him.
Yeah, it's a huge fucking
This
robot.
episode is kind of a mess, actually. This episode is the definition of hot mess.
It's like junk food, though, right? Where there's so much stuff that doesn't make sense. It breaks all the rules.
It's like reality TV.
But it's fucking
It's like,
good.
it's like these people like cast as reality TV versions of themselves.
Yeah, yeah, and like, oh, yeah. Fucking Smythe.
That's all my notes for this one.
Okay, Peter 1 point says, I always thought Harry would be my best man. I guess granted, but again, their weird friendship that I never... I think Connor
never got its time.
I think Connor would be your best man more than Harry. What did you feel about... Because we talked about her a bit. We talked about Mary Jane stuff. What did you feel about Felicia coming back? And she said that, she was in some trip in Romania, blah, blah, blah. So she's been chilling with Morbius. But we didn't get any mention of Morbius. Obviously not the time and place for it. She becomes Black Cat, so that was cool at the action. And what do you feel's going on there? Because she blew Spider-Man a kiss. She was back to being very flirty with him because they started flirty and then they got really serious because they loved each other, but they couldn't be together because of certain things. And then Morbius was back in the picture, so she had to leave.
Yeah, and then he kind of gives her a double take too, right?
Yeah, he was almost like, should I really marry MJ? You know, yeah, he did, but I just don't know if he made the right choice. So what do you think? Is she still with Morbius? If so, did she leave Morbius in Romania by himself? Like, what's going on?
I would say it's probably
confused.
pretty hard to be with Morbius, just like as a human.
Not as bad as Smythe though.
It's hard to reach that. He's definitely the dumpster trash at the bottom there.
If you have not watched the show, just
Google
Spider-Man Smythe animated series.
I don't know if you would find it.
I'll look. You
do the
talk
Google to see, but no, I don't know. I'd like to think that he's still kicking, and I think that's just part of her personality. I think this is how Felicia is. So I don't think, and she didn't really go over the top with it, right? It was more just like a little like playful kind of shove. That's how I would say it. And just as I'm glad she's in this episode. I think obviously the Black Cat episodes were really fun for the most part, and so I'm glad to see that character back and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How's the Google? Does it give you what you need?
I'll show the viewers first.
Is it the actual photo?
The only benefit that he has, he's super ripped. Look at that 6-pack going on.
That's yeah.
Actually, he has an 8-pack
and big old pecs.
So
that's a good photo for him, though.
What?
That's a good photo. It gets much worse.
Yeah, like just look at this one where he's a little out of place. Like those eyebrows are also bad.
Like those things on his shoulder, look like they would just exude liquid when he doesn't want them to. That's not what you want.
Like when he sneezed, snot's coming out all those. And did you see in the last image his elbows? What's going on there? Like the bones
he's
are
kind
growing
of fishman
out.
a little bit.
Yeah. So.
And it's like not the kind of tone you want. Like he could really go to a tanning salon and get an update.
Does that tone exist?
That's like rigor mortis gray. I don't know.
Yeah, it looked like he's been dead for a while. So that's tough.
He's about it. Yeah, he's pretty dead.
Yeah. So let's see. I talked about Felicia. Okay.
The other thing. So yeah, this Harry idea. So Harry shows up.
Right. We haven't really talked about that yet.
Yeah, they show up. They take over the wedding, ruin the wedding. Harry's idea here, while Spidey's out back fighting some robots and Scorpion and such. Harry's idea is to force the priest to marry him and MJ on the spot. I just can't see how this would go well, past 1 minute after it happens. I don't know what the long-term plan is here. Right?
I guess the plan is to marry her, then kidnap her, and go and live happily ever after.
Okay, that's a plan.
Yeah.
Is it a good plan? Well,
no, Harry's life isn't a good plan.
Though, no, it's all bad. But I just don't see any sort of forward thinking, which I guess makes sense for someone who is mentally struggling. So
he definitely
to put it lightly, he's dabbling in some terrorism. It's not a good life.
He's talking to his dad on fucking windows and pieces of glass and everything like that. I think that really he wants to be with MJ and he could have just kidnapped her. I think the marrying her came into just reciting this. I think marrying her just wanted to one-up Peter, and Peter took my girl, fuck Peter Parker, he took my dad, I'm gonna marry MJ. Because I also don't think this would hold up in a court of law. I don't think they would say, you know what? Yeah, the priest said it by the.
Well, it's true because the Peter's like, do you take this? Whatever. He just responded for both of them. He didn't actually let her respond, so there was no. I'm not sure what happens in the case when you have a mute. I don't know how that works when you marry someone.
Sign language.
But I am sure that maybe that's what they do. But MJ is not a mute. She can speak. In fact, she was speaking earlier. So
because to preferences, the priest asked, "Do you take Harry or do you take Mary Jane?" He's like, "I do." And then she goes, MJ.
Yes, she does.
MJ, do you take Harry Osborn? Yes, she does. And then he's just he's holding the pumpkin bomb the whole time. And then as the priest is about to, I guess, consummate it, he passes out.
Classic.
Harry's no.
It's a good plan.
Did you find when he was Goblin, he sounded a lot more like his dad? This time when the mask was off and he was Harry Goblin, he sounded a lot more like Norman.
He's stooping more and more into insanity with every waking hour.
Yeah.
So
sad.
It's sad.
I'm gonna throw this out. Mary Jane's dress, fucking ugly.
Not great.
No.
Well, to be fair, her style has always been off. Like, those fucking weird, like, blue-purple jeans with that, like, yellow sweater thing and then, like, the cowboy boots.
Yeah. So
she's never had good style.
Does Peter have the best style in the series, even though it's pretty basic?
It's basic, but because Flash is kind of just like the douchey. He's wearing always wearing a varsity jacket, and then I think Liz has got a little bit of swag, maybe. Definitely not Harry.
No.
Definitely not Smythe. You know, Kingpin's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he's.
Yeah. I want that.
He's morbidly obese. But
he's not though. Remember, only 5% fat. He said that in an episode, remember?
God.
He's
massive.
Spider-Man makes the
He's
joke,
so
and he's
big.
just like, my muscle.
I'm
I'm 95% muscle and only 5% body fat, and that's as he's.
Yeah, but you don't know that that's fact. He just said that.
Oh, 100%. Kingpin would never lie. I think so.
I think it's impossible for that to be true.
I think his abs are just that big. That's why his gut is that big. They're just huge.
So big.
Remember, and look at Daredevil, the TV show in prison. He's just pumping iron all the time. I feel like he just does.
Yeah, but that's not even
shady
close
stuff.
to this Kingpin.
I know. I think he just does shady stuff and pump iron, and lots of steroids.
Punisher's pretty swagging as well. He's got some good style.
No, he doesn't. That trench coat with the headband.
I think he looks sick. He looks like solid steak.
You couldn't rock that look in real life. Yeah, I'm done for notes with this one.
Yeah.
Entertainment value, I would give this a 2 thumbs up. For logic and the show that we hold us to, I'd give it a 1.5 just because there's some stuff that doesn't make sense character-wise. The Liz Allen stuff comes out of nowhere. But for entertainment-wise, it's a full, maybe even a 3-star. This might be the most entertaining episode that has ever happened just because it is when Liz comes in there, you're like, what? It feels like a best stuff. You got characters you love. Mm-hmm. You got romances going on. You got shout-backs to Felicia and whatnot. You have...
a lot of characters.
You have the romantic moments we had in the series when we were like, oh, Felicia and Mary Jane, the love triangle. Yeah. When Liz says that, like you said, you're like, oh my god, what's going on? This episode kind of signifies what the Spider-Man animated series, and it honestly might be my favorite episode that we've ever watched because it is just so fucking crazy. So
it's up there in that highest echelon, I think. So therefore, I got to give it the double thumb as well.
Mm-hmm. Let's get to the start off. So like Dylan said at the beginning, we were doing the first 3 parts of the 6 Forgotten Warriors, and then the next episode we'll be doing the last 2 parts and the Return of Hydro Man. 6 Forgotten Warriors, part 1. And I have to shout out John Semper. He's
all over this show.
Yeah, he wrote a lot. Yeah, I guess he wrote a lot throughout, but this season he wrote a lot of these episodes by himself. So there you go. It's story and screenplay. Keena, was his name? Keena Marlowe? Was it Keen?
It was Key Marlowe. Just Key.
Okay, because it's spelled Key, Keane here.
I believe it's just Key.
I know. I'm just saying that's what in Wikipedia that's how it's spelled. So I'm gonna say Marlowe.
It sounds like a misspell.
Surprisingly, I'd say unexpectedly. Surprisingly is different.
Not surprising because we don't know who he is.
It's very surprising. Who introduces him to her nephew Peter, exclaiming Marlowe is an old friend of his Uncle Ben. Peter finds his parents' old passports. Yeah, it was a little shady. He subsequently shows them to Aunt May, who orders Peter to replace them. Peter, however, changes to his Spider-Man costume and eavesdrops on his aunt's and Marlowe's conversation. He discovers that his aunt is being forced to reveal something to him sooner or later. Spider-Man then leaves wondering how the conversation continued. Based on Spider-Man, he made the end of that breakdown of the episode is so boring, and I don't think I was completely bored with this episode, but I've showed my cards early. Maybe it's the placing. I'm not a fan of these episodes. I think it's because it's the final season. I'd much rather be doing other characters, and the fact we got these, and then after that's the Return of Hydro Man 2-parters.
Hydro Man does not need to come back.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff in this episode, but in the final season, I don't care about the 6 American Warriors. I don't want to learn about the Destroyer and Marvel. And these are also, I think, another reason for me why I don't have much attachment to them. They're not comic book characters. They're all made up just for the show.
Really?
And they've never appeared in anything else.
That's interesting.
So I don't have a love for them.
The Forgotten Warriors?
Yeah.
What about the Wizard?
The Wizard?
The Wizard. He was in fucking Jessica Jones. He's a real character.
I think this guy's called the Wizard.
No, this is the Wizard. Because he zips around and he moves. It's the same character.
Is it?
It's gotta be. It 100% has to be. and that's not in this. Actually, that's not in this first episode. But
No.
still, the Wizard is 100% because he was in Jessica
No, he
Jones.
is. Wow. Fuck this last thing. Six Forgotten Warriors Part 3. Peter and Robbie are told Six Forgotten Warriors by a friend of Robbie's. That's the whole synopsis of that episode on Wikipedia.
Fuck.
One sentence. Okay, maybe you're right, but I guess
I don't know if they all are. That's the only one I recognize. Obviously.
Not
is
that-
Is Miss America not a character?
Okay, let me rephrase this. You're right about that, and I also thought it was the Wizard. I put in Wizard America because he said Miss America. This concept of the Six American Warriors is not a thing. This Cap having this...
Okay.
Cap has the Howling Commandos. That's what I mean as far as... And even then the Wizard... Yeah, he isn't there, Robert Frank. The Wizard is not a character that I attach myself to. There's a reason he dies in the first episode of Jessica Jones Season 2.
Spoiler.
Whatever. That season sucked. Go check out our review. So, you're right. I guess this idea of... I get attached to... They do many storylines in this... That they're going to do the Clone Saga next. They do the X-Men. They do the Venom Carnage. This storyline is not from the comic books. And I think you're probably...
That's
I
fair.
don't have much knowledge of Miss America. I know, like, destroy somebody. But, like... That's my problem with it. I have no nostalgia or no...
Yeah. I
claim
mean,
to this.
that's a different perspective for me, obviously, because I don't know most of these characters. I know, obviously I know your Green Goblins and stuff from the other movies we've seen, but I mean, I don't know a lot of these stories anyway, so this just kind of blended in with the rest of them for me.
Yeah.
This episode, I don't know, I'm definitely more positive on, and I've only watched the first 3 parts yet, so I don't know how the last 2 end.
Mm-hmm.
But out of these first 3,
Liz
like,
Allen comes back and says,
there's a
I
lot.
love you, Aunt May.
I was like, oh yeah, Liz is in this episode. There's a lot going on, and there's parts of it I like, parts of it I don't. One, I think it does some like decent world building stuff, and it gives us some more backstory. It gives May a little bit more to do.
Yeah.
And so I like to see that. I think it does really interesting thing for Robbie Robinson. Like this guy, I'm excited to talk about it. I don't know where you want to start with this episode, but we also get Nick Fury and Shield back in this episode. We get the Insidious 6. Like there's a lot that goes on in this episode.
There's high spots. The Robbie Robinson, it's not as bad as the Liz Allen stuff, but that sure came out of nowhere. All we know is like he's had a past with Tombstone and whatnot. He's done maybe some shady stuff he regrets, but
he also knows how to disable a bomb, which is a fun fact. Like on the spot. And what was the other one? He had some other like crazy thing they mentioned.
Well, and then he also has his
I think that was in the next episode.
his uncle, who is the Marvel, right?
His uncle was one of the Forgotten Warriors.
Yeah, I think he was Marvel.
Marvel.
Yeah, wasn't
Black
that
Marble.
was it Marvel or Black Marble?
Black Marble was one of them.
Okay.
I don't think there was a guy named Marvel.
Okay. Well, there's Captain Marvel. It wouldn't-
Well, there you go.
So like, and his uncle's tied to all this stuff, and yeah, he's part of the bomb squad, and he pretty much just goes incognito spy like right away, and he's just like, "I'm coming with you to the Soviet." And I don't know how much I like it, but I like Robbie enough, so he didn't take away from the episode. It's just like a lot of like, wow, a lot of stuff that I didn't know about Robbie that is just coming up now.
Yeah, no, he has a very dark. Yeah, the other one was that he was like working in Russia as like some sort of diplomat. I don't even know what it was, but like. Yeah,
he's just working at some fucking newspaper.
Like it just added a lot of mystery background to this character, who we've only seen like glimmers of here and there.
And he's working at the newspaper, and he's not even running it. He's second in command there.
Yeah, and I mean he's the one who just gets sent off to go do the dirty work that the big JJ doesn't want to do. So.
Mm-hmm. There was at the beginning of this episode, I note that obviously we get a setup with Nick Fury, and they're talking about they're talking very sneakily about characters we know, but they're not saying that until they go, this woman, the fate of the world's in this woman's hand. There's a picture of Aunt May. I legitimately oddly laughed because I get the point, like it is in her hands because she has stuff, but it was just funny. It's just like a picture of her like in front of her house, like smiling. It's like the whole world's in danger because of this woman. And she's
Where'd they get that photo from?
I audibly laughed. That was pretty good. I'm going to ask you, what do you feel about Silver Sable? So obviously you've heard a lot about her in the news recently because she was supposed to get a movie, hasn't happened. She's in, well, when this was recorded, the Spider-Man game had not come out yet, but previews have shown her in there to be a big character, it seems like. So she's kind of like a mercenary, hired gun. What do you think about her?
Well, as we usually do with these characters, I really like the look and I like the voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, even though her goons don't have any personality, I love their look. I thought they looked super badass.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I thought she was a cool character out of the mix, right? Because she's doesn't really have an allegiance, and I don't know, maybe I think it's just a nice twist because usually there's every character has like, I don't know, some goal that they have, right?
Yeah.
But she's I guess she kind of fits in there with like Punisher a little bit.
With a little bit less moral compass because she helped Red Skull and Nazis. Or sorry,
but I don't
German war criminals.
Yeah, I don't know. I get the feeling that she doesn't fully research the people she works for.
Yeah,
she'll
that's
just take the dollar bill. So
yeah, that's the thing. She doesn't know, but she doesn't ask. She kind of has a don't ask, don't tell policy, right?
Yeah, well, she's pretty badass, and yeah, I liked her. I thought she was a fun character out of the mix.
I like her enough. Honestly, other than a few comments here and there, this is the most experience I have with her. She's, to me, not a big popular character in comics. I like her. I think she's always just represented this as far as she's just a mercenary or she has her organization in comic books. But I've never been fully attached to her. I've never been like, man, Silver Sable, I love her, or even really like. I just go, okay, she's fine. But like when they are making the movie, I was like, why this character? There's so many other characters when she's in the games. I'm like, okay, I could see where she could fit, but again, so she's, to me, I like her, but she's still like the lower echelon. But I think she's used well in these episodes. So
cool.
Yeah,
she's fun. So Aunt May wants to move in with Anna.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Anne or Anna?
It's Anna. You do this every episode.
Every single episode.
One, because she doesn't want to be alone, but two, because she's broke as fuck.
Yeah, I guess. Is that what she says?
Well, they kind of imply it, I thought, that she was low on money.
I don't know. Pension plan or something. What did May do? What did she do? What did this May do for a living when she was younger? What do you think?
Stripped. No, what did she actually do?
What, like, her career that gave her a pension?
I'm not saying this because of Amazing Spider-Man 2, which has an awful plane scene. I legitimately do see this Aunt May as like she could have been a good nurse. She's very caring. She's very soft-spoken.
Yep.
I feel like she could have done that. Uncle Ben's a bit harder. He's pretty loose now that he's a corpse. But I think that a nurse could have happened. I think something low energy. Obviously, nurse could be high energy, but something to do, like not retail, but maybe even real estate.
Real estate. No.
No, because there's always that one real. Oh, you know what?
I don't take her as a salesman.
A veterinarian.
Yeah, I think it's something that involves her caring.
Yeah, but there's always those real estate. Every once in a while, you bump into that are just super nice people that say, "Hey, we don't like this offer." Like, okay, great, have a great day. Like every once in a while, there's a good apple in the bunch. So she could have been that, but I'm going with veterinarian.
I didn't say that they're bad people
at
all. You projected that, Travis. I was just saying that I don't think she's a salesman. So
sometimes they're one and the same, maybe. And I can say that as a former salesman.
That is true. That is 100% true.
Don't trust them.
I don't know. I don't think she's necessarily poor. I think she's just lonely. I think that's why she wanted to move.
What is Peter's living conditions? Because he seemed
they bought a house with MJ, but he still lives in it.
No, he bought an apartment with MJ, not a house.
Okay, sorry.
But yeah, he seems like he still lived there. So I was a little thrown off by that.
Yeah, I guess they didn't want to create a set for their apartment. Did we ever see that? Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't think so. Again, maybe one time, but I don't think so.
Well, we never even saw it. We just saw the front door of it.
Yeah, and we'll take it. You know what? Peter's reason for Aunt May not selling, I could say are bitchy, but you know what? It's the same reason why I tell my grandma never to sell our house. I'm like, you know what? Our family grew up here. My grandpa's there. So I'm like, don't sell. Let it drop down the family or sell to one of us. So I've been there
Sometimes
before.
you gotta move on, but it's true.
I'm with Peter. Don't. You gotta.
I do remember it was very emotional when my grandparents finally moved out of that place because all the childhood memories you build over there.
Yeah.
Over the years.
I just tell my grandma not to move because the next family will be really unfortunate because I'm gonna have to burn the place down because no one else can live there but me. So.
You left some bad drawings or clues in the basement.
Yeah, I left the Cure for Wellness there too. So.
Cure for Wellness.
Or the Cure for Blindness.
Wellness, The Cure for Wellness.
That's a movie I've not seen, so.
Is it called The Cure for Wellness?
Yeah. Oh. Day in the Han. It's a horror movie.
Day in the Han.
Yeah, the
classic Green Goblin. No, New Goblin. He's the New Goblin.
No, that's James Franco.
Oh.
Yeah, he is Green Goblin. I don't think they ever refer to him as Green Goblin. A quote that I like is Peter asks Marlo what kind of work you do. Marlo responds, "Oh, this and that," and then he changes the conversation.
Yeah. I love that whole scene because first of all, Q Marlowe, a character we've never heard of before, never seen before, comes in the house, like, and
And
I
he
kind
lets
of
him
got
right
the
in.
vibes that he was like maybe a booty call, something like this. And it's just a whole weird situation. So they end up having dinner.
So it's
There's a
fucking
lot of
weird.
weird little details. So they have dinner. And the
Peter's
whole
a
time,
weirdo in this episode.
he's like, he's grilling Marlo the whole time, which is, I think it's completely valid for him to be grilling him.
It is, but not so sternly the way Peter is. And
But it also feels like he's kind of trolling him and not taking it super seriously, right?
You might mention it, so I won't bring it up. There's also something he does to Aunt May, which I found was very disrespectful to do during a dinner.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know that.
But yeah, and then when Marlo responds, oh, this and that,
He's being very shady.
he's
You
being
just say
beyond
anything,
shady.
right? Like, you can just say, oh man, like,
I'm a lawyer.
Yeah, I was an attorney.
Yeah, I'm a veterinarian. I'm real estate, yeah. But like, if your husband, your wife, your friend, your mom, your dad has someone over for dinner, and you ask, hey Marlo, what do you do? And that person responds, oh, this and that. That person's shady as fuck, and do not trust them until they tell you, because they are slinging drugs, they're doing something, or it's a surprise party, and then you can say, oh, that's why, maybe he's a surprise party organizer. But like, shut up. But like, oh, this and that, I was like, no, this should not fly. Mm-hmm. But I'll let you continue.
This is just a little detail, but so Peter's there, they're all having dinner. Peter picks up his plate of food, which is not done yet. There's still food on it.
He's he's off his rails.
He goes into the kitchen. He goes into the kitchen to the sink. The sink has, the dishwater in it where you're going to wash dishes. He puts the dish that has just a bunch of food on it in the water. Like, what the fuck, dude? You just dirtied this water. You can't use that to clean anymore. Why are you putting your food in this dishwater? You scrape the food into the garbage if you're not going to eat it, or you wrap it up, put it in the fridge. He just puts the full plate of food in the water.
Because I feel like...
What are you doing, Peter? I know you're off your game right now, but what are you doing?
Peter's like, I don't fucking live here anymore. You clean it up. I do feel like, don't you feel like from this Peter, who we've got to know for 5 seasons now, we've been reviewing this show, we started this maybe almost 2 years ago, I feel like this Peter would do that. He's that much of a douche that I feel like he would.
No, I don't think anyone ever would do that.
I feel like he would. I feel like...
It was very strange to me.
Yeah. Oh, so maybe we're not talking about the same thing about the disrespectful thing. Was that disrespectful thing you were talking about? No. Okay.
It's directly after that scene when he walks out.
Peter's on a fucking...
He walks out, throws down his parents' passports on the table and says, Aunt May, what are these? Marlo is sitting right there, like... His timing is so bad. And I kind of get it because clearly he just is not feeling well if he walked in and threw his fucking food in the sink water. But come on, man. You just spent the last 30 seconds making terrible choices. What the hell's wrong with you, Peter?
Because I just...
How could that have gone well? How could it have gone well?
There's no thought. Oh god. There's no thought put into it at all. No. That's why I said if that Peter would throw the passports down, that guy would put all that food in the sink.
Yeah.
Because that's such an asshole move to do.
No, that I get. That just doesn't connect with the Peter from seasons past.
I don't know. I still think it does, but
possible.
So my thing is, okay, so obviously he feels like something is up with Marlo, but he has no reason in the world to feel that this guy's tied to these passwords, what's going on with his parents. But even in that world, take out the Marlo shade thing. Say he's not. In the real world, if my mom is having dinner with somebody, an old friend of Uncle Ben...
Someone you don't know personally.
Someone you don't know personally. They're talking. I have an issue about my parents' passport, and not just like a regular issue. I have an issue with things, something shady could be out with them. I just walk in mid-dinner, hey, Mom, what's going on with these passports? You need to tell me right now. That is so fucking rude that in the middle of dinner just does that. I couldn't believe that. I was in shock. This was Liz Allen levels of stupid. I was like, oh my god.
John Semper, writing these episodes. I don't know, man. Maybe you need that second in command.
Because, not the greatest storytelling technique, just throwing it down. What's this? Yeah.
It's pretty wild. What happens next? After that,
Marlo gets in a car ship.
An F-Zero vehicle. I loved it.
I loved it. My problem was he drives for 2 seconds and it turns into it. He made it seem like he was going to drive so no one could see. when that ship turned, it was still like on the concrete, only a few blocks, not a few steps from Peter and May's house.
You got to be careful where you're flashing that thing, my dude.
Yeah, so he goes off, and then Spider-Man, Peter Parker's change, gets up there. They have no idea. High-tech technology, can't sense Peter Parker at all on the ship, but he falls. So.
He's feather light, my friend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they get into this F-Zero car. They head off to the shield carrier that we got a glimpse of earlier in the episode. Also, we didn't mention this earlier, but Kingpin's kind of conspiring to bring back the Insidious Six.
Yeah, but they need a sixth member.
Who could it be? Anyway, so they get up to this carrier. Peter's cruising around. He's like, "Oh, good thing they didn't change the ventilation system since the last time I was here," which is a nice little detail. So he knows where to go. He's been here before. It was a while ago he was here. Season 3, I want to say.
Of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Could have been earlier than that.
What are you thinking? I'm thinking season 1 finale, because that's the episode where Chameleon was turning into Nick Fury.
Yeah, okay, so it was a very long time ago.
I feel like he did it.
Did they go to the carrier in that episode, though? I feel like it might have just been Fury.
I don't know. What was the reason? I'm trying to think. Did he have anything to do with...
There was someone in one of the prisons up there.
Oh, so I thought he had something to do with the X-Men, but no, because that's just Landon looks exactly like Nick Fury, so...
No, it was to break someone else out of prison. Yet at the time, I cannot remember who it was. It wasn't Hobgoblin. I don't know. Can't remember.
Yeah.
It's hard to do this because, obviously, this is the first time we've recorded an episode, and we haven't said it's been a while, actually.
No, true.
It's a fun fact because it hasn't been a while. We recorded last week.
Yep.
Kyle's still gone, but
yep.
I would say maybe get used to that.
He's like Green Goblin. He's in a different dimension.
Anyways, they're up at the S.H.I.E.L.D. carrier, and Peter's overhearing some conversations. Nick Fury says that, well, it's kind of, so he's saying a few things. What he's saying is that Peter's parents were considered Russian spies, but I feel like, didn't Fury say that he was trying to, he said that wasn't the case, but that's what he was trying to maintain.
Yeah,
right?
because he doesn't want them to know what they really were.
Yeah. So Peter kind of overhears that, and he's like, they can't be. It's impossible.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to be smudging my family's name.
And this is really the first time we ever hear anything about Peter's parents over the show, isn't it? Because we get some glimpses of... We barely get glimpses of Uncle Ben, really.
Yeah. I don't think they really mentioned it. And this is the one...
I personally have never, from any other Spider-Man stuff, ever heard of Peter's parents.
Other than the last episode with them saying, hey... We don't have parents. I think this is the first one, too, with Peter being like, oh, my parents. I don't think they've mentioned all
we can see them, in the passports.
Yeah.
I guess I'll keep going with this.
Yeah,
so
you're on a roll.
Yeah, they're up on the carrier. Peter's cruising around. This is, of course, the time when Kingpin sends up the Insidious 5 at this point.
Yep.
Who is Doc Ock, Shocker, Rhino, and Scorpion. With Mysterio gone, they need that sixth. That sixth is conveniently up in this S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier. It is Chameleon.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Is it?
It's Vulture.
Vulture. Is Chameleon part of the 5?
No.
Chameleon's in this episode.
Is he
part of the 5? He was the 6th. Vulture they already had. Vulture
was part
of the 5.
at the grand entrance when they're like, we need a 6, and then he comes up through the floor and he walks out.
Right, okay, but they go up there to get Chameleon. So that part I was not wrong. I was just wrong in the order. Because we didn't mention that at the time.
Yeah,
but
you're right about
Vulture
Chameleon.
gets added to the team earlier.
Yeah, because you're right about Chameleon. Yeah, you're 100% right. Because Chameleon, remember in a
I remember the scene of him running, and he looks really awkward.
And remember in an episode a long time ago, we found out he had ties to Red Skull because he's German, right?
Yeah.
Long time ago. So that ties a little play that. Yeah, right. Because Vulture gets the big thing. How do you feel about Vulture being added as a member of the team? Obviously, Mysterio.
I think it's a great fit.
Gave his life to Miranda.
Yeah, I think it's a great fit, and I think it adds some aerial superiority to their team, which they didn't really have at this point.
True.
So that's a nice element to add to the team battle.
I'll give you.
And it works out well. We see a lot. Insidious 6 fucks up Spider-Man in these episodes. They take him out again and again.
I think they worked good unit. And honestly, I don't remember the next 2 episodes. So not the next 2 we're reviewing, the ones we haven't yet. So because I just kind of put them out of my mind. I
feel like working off track thought. I feel like working with Mysterio would be tricky, just in terms of combat.
So
I feel like that's a lot to keep track of
True.
as like this guy's on my team.
my point about Vulture is I feel like Doc Ock is kind of the pseudo leader, right? And I don't know.
I feel bad because I feel like he's kind of got demoted to goon level at this point, and it's sad.
He did because he's failed so many times. So, but that's my thing. I still think he's the leader of this group.
He's the smartest. Yeah.
I think putting a Vulture. I don't know if it has anything to do with this next episode. Like I said, I cannot remember them. I feel like Vulture can be a problem though.
Power struggle?
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like before Mysterio knows his place, Chameleon knows his place, Scorpion,
Rhino definitely knows his
Rhino
place.
knows his place for sure. He saw Amazing Spider-Man too.
He invented that place.
So I feel like Vulture. I saw when a Vulture comes up, like, oh, that's cool, great for combat. But I was worried. I don't know if it plays the episode, but I was worried because he is pretty high strung, and in those episodes with the tablet time and everything like that, like. He's always being like on the path of his own drum, beating to his own drum.
I like
the path of his own drum.
I
like it, but I like it. I'm just saying that as a team, as Kingpin selecting a member.
No, I was saying that I like the comment you just made.
Okay.
And I wasn't going to correct you because I just liked it.
Passing the drum. No, it was the drum.
Passing the path of his drum. He was on the path of his own drum.
Yeah. I feel like someone like Tombstone, who's not a big threat but physical, you could put in there.
He's a hero for hire.
I feel you could find a way to like kidnap Mariah and get Kraven there. I just feel like Vulture is the most skilled of them, but possesses a risk. And also, I forgot what happened to Vulture because last time I saw Vulture, wasn't he was Man Spider, remember? And he had the wings and he was flying off to the cave. But I guess at some point he healed himself. I just can't remember.
Yeah, it is always hard to remember.
Been a while.
Clearly, he's been around the block, and he's looking for some new work.
Yep.
And I think working for Kingpin is it's risky, right? Because I think if you start working with Kingpin, you're stuck, right?
Yeah,
and
but it pays probably.
And it does pay, but like you aren't going off to do your own solo venture. No. You're not working for any of the super villains because Kingpin will not let that happen.
And I feel like
Vulture's kind of part of that team.
And that's where I feel like Doc Ock can be like, okay, I want the money, inventions, everything like that. But Vulture, I feel could push back and be like, hey, I want to be on my own again. Vulture, to me, is a big time loner.
But the other side of the coin is this is some great experience working with Dr. Ock. You get some goons. If you ever
good for the
if
resume.
you ever want to go off on this other smaller journey, I'm sure you could get Shocker in on it. He's a pretty weird fucking guy. I'm sure you could get him to do a little job on the side. So he's building up some connections. And maybe he feels that he's strong enough that he could take out Kingpin. Like, what's Kingpin going to do to Vulture when he's flying around? Kingpin, maybe only 5% body fat, but like he ain't flying. He ain't jumping.
He probably still has that Smythe Spider
Slayer. Do you think Kingpin can jump?
Like Mario jumps. Very.
Mario can jump well.
I guess. I think his form, but he is Spider Slayer, so he could send that after.
True. What happens next in this episode? I think that's pretty much it. They all break out. They get out of there.
Well, even the way this
Wikipedia
thing ends, when it's just like Spider-Man leaves the conversation, wondering how the conversation continued.
Yeah. So, eventually they do break out Chameleon, and they get out of there. They escape. They bop Spider-Man because they do fight, and they bop Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man pieces out, and then Peter goes back. Marlo's back at May's place, and that's when they Marlo does explain to him that in fact his parents were spies. Yeah. So he breaks it to Peter. Peter believes this guy, obviously.
These episodes are some of the toughest to break up to what happened when, because they literally the two parts are like the be continued just flow right into each other right away, and there's five of these.
These will get tricky.
What was I gonna say? I like how he breaks through to Jonah to get him to go on the trip when he's just like, oh, I've heard Spider-Man told me he's going to Russia, and like you said, he might be trying to take over the world, and maybe this is his ploy, and I liked him trying to trick in Jonah into kind of paying for him to go, so that was good.
No, I thought that was well done.
Yeah.
Robbie tags along, obviously, and so the first thing they do when they go to Russia is, well, first Spidey's kind of cruising around, he's like, I don't know this place, and he just goes home. Don't really know if that was an entirely necessary scene, but whatever, he was in there. And then Robbie and Peter go to some guy's house that I can't remember the name of. Omar? Was it Omar? Maybe.
Was that his uncle?
Yes. No, it was just some old dude. I don't think it was his uncle.
The black old dude?
Yeah. Was that his uncle?
I thought that was his uncle, and I thought that's Captain Marvel.
I think it's not Captain Marvel, but I like that name because it fits, because it's like Captain Marvel. It's Black Marvel.
Black Marvel.
But Yeah, I guess it is. No, that's not. That's Marlo's uncle, not Robbie's uncle, right?
There's too many uncles going on in this episode.
Yeah, because it's Robbie and Peter that go there.
Yeah. And that guy
there we go.
is...
We got it.
Captain
No,
Marlo's
because Marlo is one. He's the destroyer.
Yeah,
It's fucking intense. There's a lot going on here. Whose uncle is Black Marble? Is it someone's uncle?
I don't know.
His stuff's hard. There's 5 episodes. It's a lot to handle.
I'm sorry, fans. I'm letting you down.
Okay, but here's what I know does happen. Robbie and Peter go to talk to some old dude to get some information. Silver Sable shows up with her goons, which looks sick. They take the old man and they leave a bomb for Robbie and Spidey, and that's when that episode fades to black. That's the end of part 1.
Yeah, I'd give it a thumbs up.
I just had one quote that I liked. It's one of the times that Spidey's clinging onto a ship, because I know he does it with the Insidious 6 as well, and he drops the quote, "Too bad this won't count towards my frequent flyer miles."
Waka.
It's a classic. But really, I don't feel like he flies very often. So
No.
I think it was more just a one-liner.
Also the Goblin.
But I mean, like, in a plane. I don't think he
fair,
ever is,
fair.
like, paying money
Okay.
to fly somewhere.
Fair enough.
And that's what I thought was interesting. This is the first time we leave New York, really, in the entire series, right? And they go as far as you can possibly go. They go to
unless you
Russia.
count Dormammu, and then anytime we go into his
Dimensional
world. Yeah,
stuff.
but yeah, you're right.
So that happens. Yeah, that's the end of episode 1. I like this episode. I'm gonna give it a thumb up.
I give it a thumb up too. I like it. It's a well episode. It just doesn't stand out for me. The second chapter opens directly following the first. Spider-Man is able to rescue Robbie and escape the explosion.
Okay, that's bullshit. Robbie diffuses the bomb. He saves the fucking day.
The bomb still no. This is the part. This is the first one. The bomb does go off.
The bomb doesn't go off in the first part.
Isn't that how the first part ends?
It ends with them in the room with the bomb, but then the part 2 picks up with Robbie defusing the bomb.
Spider-Man was able to rescue Robbie and escape the explosion. The following day, Peter and Robbie come across a Russian police officer who claims to have known Peter's parents. When they ask his wife about him, the officer...
they come across? Did it say?
The following day, Peter and Robbie come across...
That's not true either. They don't just come across this guy. Robbie specifically goes there because he worked with this guy in the past.
Hey, you're a Russian police officer.
We should go with my notes from now on. Fuck these Wikipedia.
These are great. We have to. When they ask his wife about him, the officer Kargoff threatens that Peter and Robbie will be arrested if they don't leave. Spider-Man is subsequently.
Oh god. Subsequently.
Subsequently.
I had it and then you said it bad and then it twisted.
Spider-Man is subsequently suspicious of Kragoff and spies on him, discovering that the chameleon had tied him up and impersonated Kragoff. Spider-Man is then defeated, rendered unconscious, and taken Kingpin, and by the Insidious 6, the Kingpin reveals his plan to use the Doomsday device. Spider-Man, the 6th Kingpin, and Landon are kidnapped by Wildpack, who attacks the building. Lots of action in this episode. Now, what did they... Because I can't fully remember. What did they...
I don't think that's true.
What?
What you just said didn't sound like what happened.
A lot of action?
Like, just...
Or this episode?
I don't know. That just didn't feel right to me.
Okay. That's... maybe it's part 3, because in part 3 they just have Peter and Robbie are told about the 6 Forgotten Warriors. So maybe they took a bit. They said they were some sort of spies. Have they clarified what type of spies they were? Because they didn't want to spoil it for you.
They were counter spies.
Okay. I think...
Whatever that means.
I think maybe it's a minor spoiler, but it's going to come up. Or maybe it's just in the comics that, like, sometimes they've been S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. And I've always...
They didn't mention that. No.
Okay, I've always...
But you would wonder if Fury's in on it, like... You know.
Yeah, and maybe they will reveal it coming up. I've always been worried that the MCU is going to do this because S.H.I.E.L.D. is such a big thing in the movies. And especially with these rumors of Nick Fury being in Spider-Man Far From Home. I do not want Peter's parents to be S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. That's one retcon I've never liked. I've never liked that idea. So just a shout out for the future. If it happens, you know my feelings on it already. So
I'm not against it initially. I think it could be well done.
His parents died in a plane crash. I like that. Just keep him. It sits with the story. Because to me, then...
Danny Rand.
Yeah, it's got a bunch of flashbacks. But like to me, that just gives his parents back and it makes them a less... I don't know. Takes away some of the loss. So that's my feelings on it.
Okay, that's fair.
Just want to shout that out.
Okay, so what happens in this episode? Robbie defuses the bomb.
Kingpin's strong as
They go
fuck
and
in
talk to
this
this police
episode.
guy.
When they have him like tied up with the metal, he
Yeah.
breaks out of it by himself. This is a guy, 5% body fat,
Uh-huh.
no super soldier serum or anything like that. He is swole and ready to go.
And then he just like goes and breaks all the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he is girthy. He's chunky. I'm surprised they had one of those holding cells that just fit Kingpin.
Yeah.
Because it looked like the same size as the rest of the holding cells, but somehow Kingpin slid in there.
Yeah.
Very, very crazy.
Maybe that his holding cell expanded.
You okay? What do you see?
There's like a star, like one of those stars that
glow in the dark.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a quick test right now. Just to...
Doesn't work.
Nope, there's a little look.
Okay,
You
it's
see
old. It's old.
There you go.
Yeah, I feel like people never take those down. You just kind of forget about them
Yeah.
because they stop glowing as the years go on. Let's see. So, yeah, we get some flashbacks here. So they eventually,
Do we?
Robbie and Peter go and talk with this random Russian girl.
I thought that was episode 3 where we got the flashbacks.
I don't think so. I think that's right now.
Okay.
Because episode 3 is back in New York, right?
I thought episode 3 is the flashback episode because I have part 3.
There might be more.
I guess, but flashback. I thought episode 3 was just almost wholly a flashback episode where they're talking about the origins of the.
I think we get a small one here, but it's just a minor one.
These episodes are.
I think this
There's lots
flashback.
going
I think
on.
the flashback in this episode is like foreshadowing the flashback we get in the next episode.
Okay.
It's like it's just like giving you a taste, and then it kind of takes what you were expecting to happen and kind of flips it.
Because we also got a flashback to another flashback that we had before with Red Skull and Captain America.
Right.
Yeah.
So they go talk to this Russian girl who is the daughter of Wolfgang, who is the guy who's trying to keep this doomsday device out of the hands of the bad guys.
Yeah.
That's kind of the setup. And this Wolfgang guy knows Peter's parents. That's flashback we get. But then, so they have this girl has this package that she's going to give to Robbie and Peter, and this has some information as to who the 6 Forgotten Warriors are. But then some guy who's just like, I guess her friend, it's supposed to be her friend or like a lover. It's not said at all, but it's insinuated that like she knows this guy.
Yeah.
He just walks in, takes it, and leaves. We find out that was actually, in fact, Chameleon. Posing
Damn
as this
Chameleon.
guy. Yeah, Chameleon gets his grubby fingers everywhere. And then they peace out and they get away. So this information is given to Kingpin and the boys, and then that's when the breakout happens, I guess.
Yeah.
So it leads right into that part. So that's when we get that's the first time we see Red Skull, isn't it?
Well, yeah. It's not Red Skull.
It's the fake Red Skull.
And it's Red Skull's son.
That's the first time in this show at all.
No.
Right?
That episode.
Was there a Red Skull episode?
There was, because that flashback of Captain America getting the super soldier serum.
I don't remember Red Skull being in that episode.
He was in that flashback. The reason is because he's the setup to Black Cat. Black Cat's dad, the cat, is the burglar. Remember, and that's how he gets the powers, was because that serum. So he did make an appearance at Red Skull. I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay.
I'm 99.9%
It didn't. When I saw him, obviously I know who Red Skull is at this point, but it didn't strike me as familiar from this show. But,
okay. I'm sure he was in it, though.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? But yeah, first he had the executioner hood on, and then he takes that off, and that's Red Skull. But then he takes that off.
You could tell when he had the hood on. You could see the nose and the eyes. Like, you could tell.
And then when he takes that mask off, it is Red Skull's son, which classic trope.
I also just kind of found it a little bit funny that obviously Peter and Robbie were here in Russia for a particular purpose, but then Kingpin and the boys, they're just also in Russia, of course, because it's kind of funny because this show always takes place in New York, so any character that shows up, it's like, oh yeah, it makes sense for them to be here.
Mm.
But yeah, Kingpin just came out of fucking nowhere, and he was all of a sudden in Russia.
Kingpin is just always doing that. You might be right. I did a word search on Wikipedia, and Red Skull only comes up in season 6 here. So maybe they said Red Skull, but maybe I guess he didn't appear in that Captain America thing. So you might be right about that.
I feel like I could see a name drop of happening, but I don't remember actually seeing the man himself.
Did you like seeing Red Skull? Because obviously he didn't get the best fleshed out in the movies, but
yeah, I mean, I don't really. It's a name I've heard for years, but I've never really had much of a concept of him because I haven't seen him around. And
I think
the show doesn't really give me.
To love him,
yeah, I mean, the show doesn't really give me a great concept. He's kind of just like feels like he's fully gone on the spectrum of bad guy. Like he will destroy the world, kill whoever just to have control, power. So yeah, he's one of those full-on bad guys. He's not one that has a soft side. He just seems full Red Skull power. That's pretty much the end of this episode. Kingpin gets the... it's kind of funny. Everyone's like trying to get this briefcase, passing around, throwing around. It kind of reminded me of like the Pulp Fiction thing where it's like you never really know what's in this briefcase. You open it up and it's just this golden light. Kingpin gets it, goes back to New York. And then, in lieu, everyone else follows, goes back to New York, and that's the end of this episode. Spidey has the classic quote of, like, Kingpin's talking about how he's going to take over the world, classic, and he says, Kingpin, now you sound like a Saturday morning cartoon villain, which is, some fun fourth wall sort of stuff, I guess. I feel like, though, when I heard that line, didn't he say that exact same line to someone else? Maybe not, like, word for word, but, like, some reference to Saturday morning cartoon.
It's season 5.
John Semper, recycling your old jokes, man. Like, now we can just throw all of the
comments on John Semper.
I wonder what he's up to these days.
Hopefully
he's doing well.
Yep. Hopefully he's working on bringing back the show.
I feel bad if he's passed away, and they should bring him back as a writer for...
He died of a fatal car accident. No,
he was gunned down by...
Yeah. You got any more notes on this episode?
No.
I'll give this one a thumbs up. I'm giving them thumbs up because they're well-crafted episodes. They're not bad episodes, but they're not bad enough to be in the middle, but they're thumbs up because they're good, but I am having a tough time remembering them beat for beat because I think there's just so many.
Well, it's hard when you have multiple parters, right? They all meld.
But sometimes I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that with the X-Men or the Venom or the Goblin stuff like the Goblin Wars. I feel like those sometimes were so distinctive in their part 1 and part 2. You could tell where this is one of those that they just kind of blend together.
I mean, this is true. This is I've only seen 3 parts, but it is a 5-parter. Yeah. I would say each episode has its... Like, episode 1 is kind of setting up the episode, bringing in the characters. Episode 2 is when they go to Russia, do all this stuff.
Yeah.
I guess they go to Russia in the first episode, but... And then, I haven't seen the last 2 episodes. Anyway, should we talk about episode... I'll give this one a thumbs up as well. And you were talking about the synopsis is pretty flavorless, is it not?
Yeah, I already read it. They learn about the Forgotten Warrior. I was just reading what... John Semper was up to, and not too bad. He's still alive, so he wrote a recent episode for Justice League Action, so that's cool.
He's still doing,
He's doing some animation stuff. Did a Pink Panther thing. Worked on Rugrats way back, obviously. But cool. Kong, the animated series, apparently was a thing in 2005.
Nice. We should get him on the show.
I'd love to talk to him.
Do you think he'd do it?
Probably not after we just roasted him, but we have much more positive to say than
he's been around the whole time. He's done a lot of great stuff.
Oh man, he wrote 2 episodes on the Incredible Hulk animated show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why you showed me that. But...
Probably have to get because it's like showing you it's real. I'll probably have to get Taylor on that one. But you would join us. It's only 21 episodes. It didn't last
one season. I'd do that easily.
There's an Iron Man one too that lasted 1 series and a Silver Surfer show.
God, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
All of these sound good.
Iron Man's really, really good actually. I was really disappointed it got canceled.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah, X-Men's obviously the GOAT. Everyone says that's like the golden standard, so we'll build up that one day. And then last thing I'm going to show you is this is just because I know you're a King Kong fan. This is this Kong series he worked on.
Oh, he's blue.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so part 3 of 6 Forgotten Warriors. This was...
What actually happens in this episode, because that doesn't really help.
This was primarily the episode of the flashbacks, and you learn about them all. You learn about the team.
Who the 6 are. And
yeah, you learn that they were trying to replicate Captain America Classic. Same thing happened with Wolverine, all the stuff. They replicate it to a point where all these people get powers, but they cannot sustain them. They get tired. They get weakened if they use them for too long. And they get these rings that kind of help with the powers. Yeah. Maybe like kind of
Control.
steroids for powers.
Essentially like an on-off switch, right?
Yeah. So that was good, and then they get the whole backstory of how they're kind of Captain America's team. So they're kind of like the Howling Commandos, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think what happens after that once we get.
Well, so we get that information from Omar now.
Mm-hmm.
So Omar is the Black Marble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has Cap's shield, and that's kind of when this whole flashback starts.
I recognize that. That's a quote.
That's a classic quote. Yeah, you got it all there. So yeah, the Forgotten Warriors are the Destroyer, Miss America, the Thunderer, the Black Marble, and the Wizard. And Peter is very quick to say these are a bunch of shit names. Who came up with these? He really just throws it down. I think the Black Marble is an awesome name.
Yeah, for sure.
The rest I could kind of agree with.
Captain Black Marble's even better.
That's too much. Well, it was interesting for me to see the Wizard. It's interesting that I've seen the Wizard now twice. I feel like he's an incredibly minor character, but I've seen him now in two separate things.
Life, yeah. I forget this. What happens to the Forgotten Six that they have to keep a secret?
What's that?
What happens to the Forgotten Six that they got to keep a secret? There's something, because I wrote down a line. At one point, Miss America goes, we have to keep this a secret, and I think it's the Thunderer or Black Marble, and immediately she's like, we got to keep the secret, and then he's like, what does he say? Can we? And then they discuss that, or she says, we can't keep this a secret. And then he goes, can we? Right away. No thought put into it, anything like that. Just
maybe the Doomsday devices.
Yeah, maybe. But I just got to laugh right away. They're like, can we?
They were very, like, anytime the Wizard's moving around, there's like this little sound effect that plays. It's like, like, it's very cheesy. It always made me laugh. And then I think it was the Thunderer, who's like, he's kind of like, what's that guy? Sonic. Who's the guy, the X-Men character? The Banshee. Yeah. Kind of like that. He has like the screaming power. And anytime he did it, it just like, I just broke into laughter anytime. Because it's like, it was, as with anything in the show, it's always very quick cuts where you'll just get like a very, very fast snippet. And it's just like, just like always took me off.
He was kind of lame. I like
they
some of them,
they were all pretty lame.
They're all lame.
I mean, Miss America, it's like she can fly, but really she just like can float for a bit.
I don't know if they're all comic characters. When I looked, Miss America, it said her first appearance was in 2011, and I couldn't find anything to do with this. So some of these maybe they went on, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The only one I know is Wizard, and I hope Black Marble exists somewhere because he's cool as heck. But we get this storyline that Captain America, the reason he's gone and the rest of them are all still alive as old people, is that in a battle with Red Skull, he sacrifices himself and Red Skull into some sort of otherworldly portal. Maybe they come back, wink wink.
With Venom and Carnage.
And yes, and he did this in order to prevent Red Skull from using the Doomsday device. And then after this, the Warriors were all ordered to kind of end their duty, hang up the cape as it were, and move on with their lives. None of them did so great at this. I feel like they all kind of... Actually, we don't know. We didn't really get much from... We saw Black Marble couldn't really do that too well. He missed it too much.
I was just trying to look to see if I found Black Marvel, like I said, but I haven't found...
I swear it's Black Marble.
Because even look at his costume.
Is it kind of similar?
Like, it's similar enough.
But he's a white guy, you know?
Yeah, well, let's see. Other media or television... well, there you go. You're completely wrong, and I was right. It's the Black Marble, because in the other media he's appeared, he's only appeared in one thing, and it's this show.
Nice.
So it is the Black Marble.
Marble.
No, Marvel.
Oh, really?
It's a Black Marble.
I'm going to take the Black Marble for myself then and make that my own character.
That'd be your next podcast name, Gauntlet, and everything like that.
Black Marble. Yeah. So what happens next? We go back to recent times. So at this point, Kingpin, he's looking for... He's trying to find out which of his team betrayed him, because apparently someone betrayed him. He doesn't know who it was.
Someone gave the other team the skinny.
Yeah. Yet he doesn't put a whole lot of effort in this. He kind of just says, hey, guys, go get these keys, a.k.a. the rings.
Who do you think?
I mean, we were just talking about Vulture. Vulture.
Again, I honestly do not remember. So this is the time I can play along. I do not remember if if it's just him being paranoid. It probably is, because this show does not do subtle. So
I feel like Rhino... not a great guy, but I don't think he'd betray Kingpin.
I don't think he's smart enough to betray
Shocker
Kingpin.
either.
If Mysterio was around, I would have said Mysterio is a prime candidate to be doing some trickery. I think, Rhino and then we're out. I think Chameleon is the next best bet. Because Chameleon...
it's hard to say because we just don't really know anything about him.
I'm going to say Chameleon because he has ties to some of the German war criminals. I think Vulture's a strong. He could be like a red herring, but I'm going to say... I'm going to
go for the off-the-wall pick and pick Doc Ock.
See, I don't think Doc Ock has anything going for him, so he needs this team.
Well, I think that's what he needs to do. Is he needs some betrayal here.
Okay.
Work for someone better than Kingpin. Because really, I mean, we've seen a lot of Kingpin. Yeah, he is the Kingpin, but really, he hasn't really garnered all that much power in New York. It seems he kind of sends up these goons every once in a while. They're rarely successful.
I feel like he has a lot of backdoor stuff, though. We don't know what's going on. He just bought his own newspaper. Money. Who knows? Plasma money. Who knows what other businesses he's getting into?
It's true, but I'm just saying, like. From what we see.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
So that's happening, and then at this point, they're all looking for the keys.
Okay, yeah.
One of them is kind of funny. There's some kid in his room, like, drawing a picture of the Thing. Kind of just a fun little... I think it was supposed to be the Thing, at least. It's a pretty good drawing for that kid. And then, anyway, he's talking like his grandpa, who is the Wizard, and he's just like... Oh, why don't you draw like the Wizard? And the kid's like, the Wizard is shit design, Grandpa. And I was like, man, that's so sad. Wizard didn't have the greatest power, could never really control it, lost the ability to control it, probably didn't have a great life, and here, like, his just trying to, like, his grandson's shitting on him.
And then this is
the Wizard wasn't real. Yeah. It's like, oh.
And then this is the beginning of all the villains in City 6 hunting them down, which is in my notes I have as a negative. Spider-Man swinging through the city and bumps into Miss America. Yeah, where was the Spidey sense?
Yeah, Spidey sense is not scientifically proven, right? It just kind of happens from time to time.
Yeah, true. So,
Vulture was just chasing her around town.
Just fucking random. And then
Very lucky timing her, else Vulture just dropped her. She was just going to fall hundreds of feet, just smash into the ground and explode. But good thing Spidey was there.
He didn't save her, though.
Didn't he?
No, he just bumps into her. She's flying away from Vulture.
He saved someone. Was it May?
Maybe he saved her later, but maybe it's May, but it wasn't her.
I thought he saved her. He 100% saved her.
I could be wrong.
I think you are wrong.
I could be very much wrong. I should have watched this episode twice, actually.
And then, Rhino, obviously, he goes, takes out the Wizard. Destroyer, we find out Marlowe is, in fact, the Destroyer, we find out. And
helps Peter out on the lawn.
Yeah, he helps Peter mow the lawn. PD. I just
Not
said
mow
PD.
the lawn.
That's crazy. Because Shocker and Scorp showed up to get the key from Aunt May, because there's one somewhere under the furnace in her house, so she's been packing some secrets of her own.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get like some crazy backstory. So we get some backstory on Marlowe. We find out his history with Ben. What do you think of this?
You want to tell the viewers? Because I know, but you gotta lay the land.
Interesting. So obviously we heard before. Me and Ben were friends, and we found out this is true. It seems like they were gaffers back in the day, a different time, back in the 50s or whatever. They were friends. They were shooting shit. Like they weren't taken too seriously. They're kind of like pranksters, sorta. Mm-hmm. But maybe they wanted to be cool. I kind of get that sort of vibe. And there's kind of this girl who they were both like, oh man, this girl is, she's the Felicia of back in the day.
She's their Beverly.
Yeah, they both want this girl, and
Uncle Ben gets her.
Uncle Ben tries, and I guess he does, right? But then Marlowe steals her right from him, and that's what happened, right? You look like it is not.
I don't think that's what happened.
What happened.
I thought Marlowe goes to make the move with the flower. Oh wait, no, Marlowe does get her, and then
steals
Marlowe has to leave.
He steals her and then marries her.
Aunt May?
No, this girl that Ben was interested in as well.
Oh, okay, I fucked up.
Did you watch these episodes? You're pulling Taylor right now.
I did watch these. They just all blend together. I watched them 2 days ago.
Well, this is what happened.
Watched them before.
Marlowe. Ben, I think he had some with her.
Ben throws them down.
Yeah. Marlowe steals her. They get married.
Okay.
Ben marries May.
Okay, I remember that now. So they completely just.
And then we learned that That's where Ben got that quote from Marlo.
Hated that. I
don't like that so much either because it kind of just like what does Ben have going from now?
I know he
just seems like
Aunt May's his second choice, and then he stole Marlo's expression because Pierre's like, oh, that's where he got it. It was great power, great responsibility. Hated that. So that I do remember this now. So I was saying, I did not like that. Did not like the story. Other than Marlo's just a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
So fuck him.
Yeah, I mean when she's got it going on, I don't know.
Reigns of Pores. Path to
just
the
a quick note, like. In the past, we've seen Peter blowing off Mary Jane a lot.
Yeah.
It's a different time now that they're married. But I have to say, she's handling this really well.
Yep.
He goes off to fucking Russia, of all places now. And she's just like, every time I see her, she's like, way to go, Tiger. How you doing, Peter? Like, she's very kind.
Yeah.
She's not pulling any of that prissy shit that we've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens in the Hydro Man episode. I'm sure that's going to be a wild story for her. But, I have to say, she's pretty cool. So... Mm-hmm. This episode ends with like I don't know, just a continuation. Marlo and Spider-Man are off to continue the mission.
Yeah.
And obviously there's 2 more parts that I have not seen yet.
Pick up in the next episode. So.
Have you rewatched those 2?
No,
yet?
I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch them closer to their review.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on in these episodes. There's a lot of backstory.
Too much sometimes.
Too much
stuff that I'm not that
sometimes it does feel like they kind of bog down the now.
Yeah.
Especially with
it's too convoluted.
You've got me thinking about this now because I guess it hasn't sunk in yet. We're on the last season, and this 5-part is gonna blast through half the season already. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
And maybe the time would be better spent elsewhere. But it was cool seeing some more Captain America.
Yeah.
And these characters are kind of cheesy, but I did like seeing. It was kind of fun to see this team. It was fun to see like superheroes in the history of this Spider-Man universe,
Mm-hmm.
And I think Marlo, kind of a greasy guy. I don't like this Ben thing, but I still generally like him as a character throughout this progression. So there you go. That's this 3rd part. 6 Forgotten Warriors.
Thumb for almost a middle thumb, but a thumb up.
Yeah, I'd give a thumbs up. It gets the job done. Yeah.
Obviously, our favorite episode in this 4 part's gonna be
the
wedding.
The wedding. Yeah. If you pumped all these 6 Forgotten Warrior episode stuff together as like one storyline, it's not done yet, but like I don't know, it's maybe got some stuff going for it. But this wedding episode was crazy. It was a little like past the confines of what this show normally is, but I think that was fine. It was fun.
Yeah.
I'm getting pretty hungry, and it's like 9 o'clock.
Have you not eaten dinner yet?
I had a late lunch, and then we had 2 long casts. So This is our longest Spider-Man episode, isn't it? It felt like
I think so. It's an hour and a half.
Boom.
There might be one Goblin Wars episode, maybe, because there's some stuff. Hobgoblin was quite the guy, so you know where the links are. Thanks for tuning in.
We'll catch you on the web.